Talking of God anyway, because I don't know if it was God's plan that this was happening. You have to love them segues there, innit? But flipping hell, this whole Drake and Pusha thing, yeah, I have to start on this because I think for anyone who's paid at least a small bit attention to what has been going on between the two over the years would have known that at some point this was going to happen. Yeah. This is not a surprise for a lot of people. Well, actually, it probably is a surprise for a lot of people.
It's a surprise for a lot of Drake fans because I think a vast majority of his fans aren't necessarily followers of hip hop.
Yeah,
as a culture.
I would agree with that.
You know, they're pop music fans that... I'm not saying that Drake doesn't have hip hop fans, but I'm saying that like
the majority.
A vast majority are pop music fans that don't necessarily follow the intricacies of the culture in which he represents.
It's mad because like... the dynamics of this whole situation is a lot different to, I would say, the situation with Meek. I think that like he's come up against somebody who, you know, as I said before, they've had their... Where did the bickering start? Did it start... Because I was trying to trace that back.
It started... I'm sure it started with something that... it started with Wayne and Pusha. And it was something to do with...
You're right.
It was something to do with Wayne saying something about Pusha doing a record with Baby, and he didn't know who the Clips were. Yeah. But Baby had already done a record with and then Drake was standing 04, 05?
Yeah. And then Drake was kind of standing with his man. Yeah. Basically.
Which is fair
enough. Which then had them two going at each other or whatever. The Two Birds, One Stone as well. The Two Birds, One Stone, where Drake was obviously getting at Pusha at the end. He got at Cardi as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was the same one he got at Cardi. And then I think you never heard nothing for Pusha for a little while. His album dropped, yeah. What did you think of his album?
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was hard.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot. Within that, he made a shot at Drake, which wasn't a surprise to me. And then Drake retaliated straight away. Now, I know...
I feel like Drake had that written already.
Oh,
it was too perfect, innit?
It was too quick.
That pocket you found in the first 8 hours.
You lot are missing a part. You lot are missing a part. Because, see, what Pusha had done, which a lot of people ain't doing anymore, which a lot of artists used to do before, was they used to send their album out to bare people and that, like to DJs and whoever. And like, so you might have it like a week or 2 weeks before and you're bumping it. So that maybe you might talk about it on your radio platform or whatever it may be. So he did that. Because I'd heard Charlamagne say that he had the album dropped on the Friday. I'd heard Charlamagne say that he had it on the Monday. And I've heard a few other people say that they had that on the Monday. Yeah. So the moment that somebody would have got that on the Monday or even that Sunday prior,
Drake's gonna
someone's going to say, rah, my man, like, you know what I mean? So he would have had a week to record that. Yeah. So the whole idea of, you know, it came out and then Drake went in the studio straight away and did that is just a myth. That didn't happen. He obviously knew about that. That's got to be Poe. But, yeah, and then obviously that's what started. What did you think of that, by the way? What did you think of
Drake
Drake's...
Yeah, man, whoever wrote it killed it.
Oh, my
God. Nah, look, I don't know who wrote it. But it was good. It's very good.
Do you know what? This is a tough thing now because it's like, I know what you're going to say, but I'm just going to tell you as we're talking about beliefs. We were talking about beliefs before. As we...
3 minutes, yeah?
I hate this area, man. There's traffic everywhere, bro.
If I cop that shirt, you're just coming stunting on me in the whole outfit, yeah? In the whole fucking matching trousers and everything.
So what are you saying? You're recording the recording of the podcast, yeah? Okay. Well, documentary of the life.
Shit.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm stunting on them today, man. Fuck this shit.
Looking like Jesus and everything.
Yeah, come on, Jesus walks, man. But who wrote Jesus walks? That's the question.
You know
was
the
it Ryan Fest or was it Kanye?
Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
Brother, how are you?
Snips is here, by the way, just in case you didn't know. But yeah, so anyway, we're just talking, we're getting straight into the thing, yeah.
Oh, Pusha killed him. Oh my God.
So yeah, so anyway, what are you saying? You're saying that you don't know.
Nah,
I was talking, by the way, I just remembered.
Go for it.
So I know what you're going to say. Yeah. And I know what a lot of people are going to say in terms of this, yeah. But I'm just going to tell you my belief, which I
think Drake wrote it.
So do I. I believe Drake wrote what? I believe
his own verse for the diss.
Yeah.
I believe that Drake writes his diss records.
But
I don't believe.
Here's the thing. I actually believe he did write it, right? Maybe he had a little bit of help. I don't know. Like, because when you do have a team, no, but when you do have a team of writers, maybe you do have a little bit of help. You bounce it off people, they tighten up shit, whatever.
But what is help though? Because help might be, bro, like talk about this or like mention that.
Yeah, no,
because he might not know. Because Pusha would have had help.
Whatever it is, yeah, whatever it is. I reckon Pusha had help in a sense of
Information, yeah.
But as far as actually penning a verse, but the thing is with Drake is that whether he wrote it or not, the thing is because we've already established, and this is an undebatable fact, that he uses ghostwriters, yeah? That's not something that's debatable. He even talks about it in the diss, that he's used ghostwriters. A
ghostwriter.
Or a ghostwriter, even one, yeah? The fact is that now puts a question mark over anything you do.
I don't agree with that though.
It does. Anything you do, no one knows if you really wrote it.
This is where I don't agree with it. I think Drake's a pop act, personally.
He is a pop act.
So every pop act is going to have ghostwriters.
Yeah.
Kendrick's not a pop act.
Yeah.
So for me, Kendrick having a ghostwriter, it just wouldn't make any sense to me. So with Drake being a pop act, I've got to take a look at the music that I consider to be the pop demographic. Yeah. And that's where I'm going to associate the writers with that. I'm not going to associate it with the rap because I don't think he needs help with the rap, if I'm being honest. I think the boys, he can spit. He's always proven he can spit. But when it comes to doing a song, just hold on, we're going, I don't think he wrote that, no. When it comes to doing anything which has to have like a melodic approach to the song, I genuinely don't believe he has the ability to write that. I would go as far as saying I wouldn't be surprised if he had help on even songs like Fake Love and stuff like that. Yeah, of course, 100%. 100%.
But when he's barring, and this is what we and you was doing on Twitter a little bit, is that, like, for me personally, listening to Drake and liking Drake as well, I feel like when he's actually saying stuff, when he's actually just getting things off his chest, to me, it seems way too personal for someone else to just write.
Yeah, so you got a point. But what I'm saying is, we don't know. We don't know. It's all speculation. It's all our own opinion and our own interpretation. I actually agree with you. I think when he's borrowing, he does write it himself. But we don't know.
Yeah.
And the thing is when you take a pop act who does use writers, you're now he's playing in Pusha's boxing ring. You're not playing in the pop boxing ring. So even when people are saying, Pusha's gone too far. No, this is rap. This is hip hop. Like, cool. Maybe Drake can't go that far because he's a pop artist and he doesn't want to alienate his 12-year-old white girl fans from wherever. Yeah.
I'm not white. I'm not 12.
But you're exactly. But you're in Pusha's world. So we can't be judging him on the pop.
Well, who was saying it was too harsh?
Everyone was saying Pusha's too harsh.
I don't think so.
It's not harsh enough. Like, that's light. Yeah. If you watch Rap Battle, that is light. Man, bring your dead mum and all sorts.
But too many people that have opinions on this that don't understand hip hop or don't understand hip hop culture. And because Drake is a pop artist and he's got so many pop fans, you've got these fans that now think that their opinion on this art form matters, and it doesn't matter.
Fuck 'em.
It doesn't matter.
Nah, I think that, like, we ain't even really got to Pusha's proper diss yet, which I will get to in a bit still.
666.
Yeah, it was mad still. But yeah, now when I heard Drake's record, already in my head, I was already expecting this to happen, and I think that Drake in his mind was expecting for this to play out the way that it has. I don't know if he expected for the picture and all of these other things, but I think that he, in his mind, is prepared that this is going to be another situation where we're going to go back and forth and we can go back and forth. So I know that, like, again, with Twitter and how Twitter is and social media is, one diss record comes out, oh my God, it's over for blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The other one comes out, oh my God, it's over for... I just think that, like, for me personally, this has got to be a situation, where they got to be 2-3 in, and then we can start having a real look at...
Can I ask you a question, though? Because Snips were up as well. When I used to, like, listen to music predominantly when I was younger, if I had to get someone's opinion from this song or something like that, it's probably my mum.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's just for the cameras, homie.
Okay.
I wouldn't be going to half the people that speak on Twitter. Like, there'll be no reason for me to listen to them individuals when it comes to talking about music.
Don't get twisted. I don't listen to them.
So, no, but I only say that to say this because of...
I see people say on Twitter is unbelievable.
But for me, like, who cares? Like, I don't even care enough to form an opinion on what they've said. It doesn't matter because you're not the people that need to be spoken to when it comes to talking about this.
Yeah.
If we want to talk about pop music, I might be wrong, so we can have a debate all day, and you can say to me, I'm not qualified, and I hold up my hands and say, cool. But if we're going to be talking about Pusha versus Drake on some rap shit.
Don't we just talk
Why
about the
do we
general
get-
consensus though?
But I don't even
Even
think.
though-
But the
even though
general
a lot of it's
consensus now
bullshit.
involves them. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Why don't we just not involve them? General consensus back in the day about Jay-Z versus Nas was people that fucked with Jay-Z and Nas.
Yeah.
So I can
But
fuck with
the
that.
Yeah,
problem
but
general
it
is
was
now
different,
is because
though.
we've
That was
already
different.
we've already taken that demographic into an account where suddenly discussion is but he's got hits. Fuck has that got to do with a
Oh,
rap?
no,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
think
dumb.
we should talk.
Yeah, that's
I
dumb.
just,
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
dumb, yeah,
What has
that's
that
dumb.
got to do with skill? And the problem is we're too far gone. We've already taken that mentality into the conversation when it comes to discussing who is or isn't. Bruv, it's part of the dialogue now. It's part. I'm not saying it should be, and it's stupid.
We should
but
find out where
is
it
part
is
of the
and
dialogue.
just
And even
eradicate it.
even people who are considered to be of an authority talk like that. Even our own artists.
Like
and our
who?
own like bruh,
Well, you know what?
Listen, bruv, I'm
It's
trying to-
interesting
I'm trying
that
to become a
it's
different
interesting that you
person,
bring
yeah.
that. It's interesting that you bring that up, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously when Drake did the contract thing,
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of DJs and that. You know, what I mean, a lot
When
of
he did the
people
what
that
thing,
Drake
sorry?
was following.
when he did the what?
The
contract.
contract. So he said, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
he
yeah,
put the
100K,
contract or
homie.
whatever.
Yeah.
So bare people was kind of reposting the contract and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. Talking about, oh my God, it's cold, whatever. Yeah. It's a L, this, that, and the other. But then when that face came up, you see when Pusha put the
Yeah,
face
yeah.
up and
Yeah.
that, I didn't really see anyone keeping the
But
same
you know
type
why
of
though?
energy.
Yeah.
We have to be honest. I think in life, yeah, honesty is the best thing. That's why we're in all white. I'm trying this whole honesty thing.
Go on.
People have a point where they want to maintain a relationship with Drake. We don't want to maintain a relationship with Pusha because
it's not long term.
It's not long term for us. Like he's gonna drop another album like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
But with Drake, he's gonna be over here. He's gonna do all the UK things.
Yeah.
I don't want to eradicate the opportunity of
I
me
say
connecting
stay
with
out.
him.
I say stay out of the reposting.
Bro,
thing,
I
man.
retweeted everything. Because if it means I don't ever talk to Drake again, bro, I don't even talk to my mum. So I
Alright
don't
then.
really care that much. So if I'm
Alright
being totally
then.
honest with you, like if you don't want to talk to me based upon the truth, then we shouldn't have spoken in the first place.
just like
Retweet everything,
what you
bro.
like. Do what you like, innit?
But I know these guys are playing Pusha's this in their house because I was doing it this morning and yesterday and throughout the whole of yesterday. Not because I don't like Drake, because this is hard, cuz. And I don't think Drake's coming back. I genuinely don't.
I do.
I don't.
Nah,
do.
this is
My man released a statement.
This
and
is
that
yeah.
that's
No.
slightly an L.
This
But
is
he
a
had
tipping
to.
point.
L.
No,
I thought you
it's
were
an
saying
L.
don't.
You're right. No,
No,
listen,
I thought. Do you know what
tipping
you were
point.
saying?
It's an L.
I thought
but
you were
had
saying.
to.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying I don't want to work at Radar Radio no more. That's what I thought the whole statement was about. So for me, this whole situation is an L. It's an L. Why are you going on doing this statement?
I
thing?
hear you, but
It's
let
an
me
L.
just say
Every
this.
artist
Let
has
me
a
just say
tipping point,
this.
you know.
Let me just
this
say
idea
this, yeah.
that people never fall off. Everyone falls off eventually, man.
Of course.
And you know what's happening
I don't
right
think
now?
you'll fall off.
I don't
People are
think
like,
he will either.
listen, do
But
you
he
know
had to do this. Let's just get back to the statement quickly, yeah. It's an L. I'm not taking away from the fact that it's an L because it's the face and it's all of that, yeah. But for me personally, just me, I kind of needed to hear the context. Whether he could have put it in the music or whatever, I don't care. I wanted to hear the context because I understand that gollywog thing. I understand that. Yeah,
But why he did that?
not why he did it,
Yeah.
but what that is about.
Yeah.
And I don't rate it. So like even when Moncler put that on their clothing line and all of that stuff, that means something. That touches me in a certain type of way.
yeah.
So like, I'm not saying I'm on this whole you're cancelled thing and all of that stuff, yeah. But because I understand what that gollywog thing represents, bro, you need to say something very quickly about that because I need to know exactly
Not
what that
for
is.
me.
For me.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not saying for you. I'm saying for me.
That's fair enough. But I just don't think that shouldn't be general consensus because at the end of the day, yeah.
That's a deep
For
thing.
me, it's a very deep thing. But the beauty, we're old enough to know one picture is not a reflection of a situation. It's
Of course
one,
not. That's why you need. That's why I need the
but,
context.
But you should do it within your own time. I don't think you should feel under pressure from a bag of people now to go and put this bloody statement out. Because I'm telling
With
you,
something
for me,
like that, I do.
But bro, you've just agreed that the statement's an L.
Of course.
Like I would rather you just put out a diss track next time now, keep it in the music, like, and then explain in the music and then do what you're doing. Don't listen. This is what Drake always does.
the
He cusses,
gollywog
don't know
thing
what-
is
hear me
bigger
out.
than music.
What Drake does, but fam, man dying is bigger than music, you know. And man really said 666, so everything that's happening is bigger than music. So my whole thing is, if Drake's whole thing is to put music out and then embarrass you off the music he's put out, why change the whole parameter of everything now just because a man's put...
Yeah,
bro,
I
do the same thing.
Listen, not
stay
not
consistent.
talking about the blackface thing, but
the gollywog thing, I need a statement. on
but
that.
just in
Fair
general,
I need
like,
you to. I need
in general,
not a statement, but I need you somehow to communicate with me as somebody who checks for you.
No,
and
I
has
need
bought
no
your music.
But one second
where
before you
this
say.
gollywog
But no,
thing
but
comes
Chucky,
I get
I
it,
need
I get it.
to me. I feel you. I want a statement as well. But the one thing I don't want you to do is do it under pressure. Because now, if I genuinely care about the situation, I'm confused on why you've made this rapid statement. Is it because you don't want to lose followers quickly? Like, that's a serious situation. So
do you know what
deal
I
with
want?
it seriously. Give me a song and explain to me why you done that. Because whatever explanation you give me, from the bottom of my heart, I can tell you, I believe it's going to be trash.
Do you know what I want? I want people to stop being surprised when artists show you who they are. That's the shit that bothers me. So this idea, we're offended by everything, yeah, apart from the shit that people put in their music. So like we can go back to Migos saying something homophobic and everyone went, oh my God, Migos are cancelled, they're homophobic. Really, you surprised? Do you listen to their music? Yeah. Of course they're homophobic. Oh my God, A$AP Rocky said something misogynistic. Yeah, no shit, you listen to his music. Oh my God, Pusha did something really offensive by putting Whitney Houston album cover. Do you listen to Pusha's music? Do you know what he talks about?
Drugs.
Oh my God, Drake did blackface. Really, is that really surprising when you look at the character of Drake?
The gollywog.
Gollywog is kind of
surprising. Bro,
yeah?
understand, for me, I'm talking about for me, yeah? It's not the black face. It's the gollywog image.
The gollywog image
for
is
me,
rootless.
That's why I'm like, bro, like me and Poet, nearly every other week, you guys, Callum, we're always talking about like race and racial issues and stuff like that, racism and all of these things, and a deeper rooted cause on certain things, So for me, and you know, I'm always having conversations with my elders about these type of things. So I'm not a person who's easily offended on stuff. I see things, man say stuff, whatever. Even when my man was talking about 40 having MS and dying and all of that, it's like, I understand the music thing. For me, when we talk anything about race and about things like that, it's always going to touch me in a certain type of way, especially when you see a gollywog face.
And that's why
all I wanted to, before I even got mad or before I felt any type of way, I just want to just hear what my
let me show you the opposing argument to that. That's very personal to you. Now, there's somebody that's probably dying from the same condition as 40, where when they hear that, blood, they're going to be equally as affected as you. So for me, if you just keep it all in the music, everyone's happy, cuz. Because you're going to offend bare people along the way. What are you going to do? True. Statements every single time. It's that
does anyone pay attention to Drake's character? Look at the diss. Do you know what he found? He found appropriate to ridicule a man that was working in retail. To ridicule a man that was poor working in retail and like, yo, he should thank me. I gave him a
Quinton? Was it Quinton?
Yeah.
Quinton? Oh, okay.
Look, and I'm saying this, when I tell you this comes on good authority, yeah? Someone I know, a very well-respected big-name DJ in New York, yeah, was telling me from his own mouth, he goes to Toronto and buys records off a dealer up there, yeah? This dealer went to school with Drake, yeah? This guy told him that at school, Drake used to tease him for being poor, yeah? That's the kind, like, and to me, when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, I've heard Drake's music. I listened, I hear what he says. That doesn't surprise me. That's the exact character that he's shown me for years.
Yeah, but to be fair, in my school, niggas used to get cussed about that all the time. So I can't even get on Drake for that. Like,
what kind of school did you go to?
You went to a terrible school.
I went to a terrible school.
If you went to a posh school.
Oh, I went to a posh school and it happened as well. I went to a posh primary school and I told my mum that this is too mad. Yeah. I got yanked right out of that. And that's what I'm saying. Everyone was doing that as well.
Being teased for being poor when you're in the hood school is different from going to a posh private school and being teased for being the poor kid.
Most people poor in the hood school though, kind of.
But that's what I'm saying. So when I don't know, people teasing each other for who's more poor. That's different than the privileged posh kid teasing the less fortunate kid in the posh school for being poor. It's a very different thing.
I hear that.
So when people, I just don't understand. It's like this everybody's. I'm not saying you're being overly sensitive with the gollywog thing. I fully understand it, but I mean in general, people are so sensitive to shit that artists do without actually taking in any consideration of who these artists are. Like how are you surprised? How are you surprised if Cardi B says something dumb? She's dumb. She's showing you she's dumb. Like, you know what I mean? It's like stop being surprised because you like the artist.
She ain't
you
dumb.
Don't wanna.
She ain't dumb though. Don't say
Come
that.
on, she ain't the most intelligent girl in the world.
But that doesn't make her dumb though.
I don't think she's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't like. Maybe she doesn't articulate herself in the way that some people might want her to, but I think she's got some quite interesting perspectives. But anyway,
so out of interest, what did you think? Listen.
What did I think?
Let me be very clear on this because I know how Twitter is. I'm just asking you a question here. What did you think when she referred to dark-skinned black women as roaches?
Do you know what? I didn't even know she did that.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna use that one comment to be like, yep, yeah, she's dumb. Like that's just.
No,
I'm just letting you know. I've said some rage things about black girls, mixed race girls, white girls, kids. Like I've just said mad things. Yeah, but so did I. I said all these things time ago. But if you use that as an example of my character and be like, "Oh, that's the way he is," I'll be a little bit disappointed.
She never took responsibility for it. But what my point is, anyway,
I never as well until that got pulled out. But I did after. But you can't use that.
I don't want to have a conversation about Cardi.
Look, my point is though. Just because you like someone as an artist, stop defending their actions because you like their music. Let their music show you who that person is, and stop being surprised when they behave in a way that they've been showing you that they are. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
But yeah, anyway, I don't know. I'm not even sure if much people were. I didn't even check social media.
Pusha especially with that album cover, and everyone was outraged. Oh my God, it's disrespectful to Whitney Houston. What about the countless people he sold coke to? Like the poor families that have died from fucking drug abuse that he's been. Like, what is that not disrespectful? Does that not matter because they're poor and faceless? But Whitney, oh my God, not Whitney.
Is it done? Is it done for Drake then?
No, of course not. It's a pop act. Like, and that's not even to me being rude to Drake, because I listen to Drake. I'm gonna buy his music. I'm gonna pump it in my yard at every barbecue. I'm not gonna lie, but he lives in a world.
I think he's done.
He's not.
I think this is the same tipping point that
I reckon you said this before.
That Rick Ross had. I've never said Drake is done.
Never.
No, I've never said Drake is done.
Okay.
I've been waiting for Drake to be done because I fucking can't stand
for years.
I don't think Drake's gonna be done.
He's been waiting for Drake to done since the fucking early mixtape.
You know the last
Drake won't be done because of
no. I like
hate
Drake
towards Drake has been.
It's not hate. It's not hate, bro. I like Drake up until what was the album with his face on the cover with the blue sky?
Nothing was the same.
It wasn't. Nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same. Yeah, it was nothing was the same. Everything up until that album I liked.
Man told me
after that,
I think Drake's been getting worse.
I just think he's been getting. And think about it, like as a club DJ, Chucky, what Drake records do you play in the club now?
God's
plan.
Okay,
that's a smash.
100%. You know why? Because it's new. What record?
Nice for what?
What record you play?
Nice for what is a smash?
Nice for what?
That's what's a smash.
That's a real
new as well. And you know what? Last year, all the stuff off the last album was a smash, but you don't play it no more. And the album before that, everything off that was a smash. But you don't play it no more.
The only reason why I do, one of the only reasons why I do is like I DJ at Nike a lot, so I play for 8 hours. Yeah. So obviously,
so who's the crowd in there? Who's the crowd in there though? Who's the crowd in there?
Off More Life.
That's the pop crowd. He's not dead, fam.
Off More Life, yeah. The only thing that I still play is the Gigs record, and even then, for the most part, I start it from Gigs verse. Like nothing really gets played off that. Passion Fruit don't get played no more.
No, Passion Fruit don't get played anymore.
None of those Blem don't get played no more. The only thing that gets played is new stuff. Blem don't get played no more. Not in clubs.
But either way,
but you can still play the motto. You can still play early Drake. Like those were the classic Drake records that stood the test of time.
I respect that.
The last couple of albums, they've been hot for a minute. They ain't stood the test of time. Now with this,
but when you say haven't stood the test of
time,
that
can't be a tipping point.
What it is,
one diss track. No,
this
man.
Is Snips. I understand your point of where you're coming from because I know, like, where we sometimes can play at the same type of parties, but also I play at a lot of parties where they're, all different types of people there or whatever,
So do I.
So there are a lot.
Just a different type of all types of people.
I hear that. But in these places, they still want to hear a lot of Drake. And in your places, maybe not so much. So when you say not standing the test of time, there's still a whole load, bro. There's still a whole load of Drake that works in a club. Yeah. I think maybe now, maybe not so much main set. Yeah. But if you're playing early, there's so much.
But what I'm saying is, I can play God's Plan, the club will erupt. I can play Nice for What, the club will erupt. I can still play the motto. And the club will erupt.
You can still play Fake Love.
I'm struggling to see the point here, though. I'm really confused.
What I'm saying is that the records from the first 2 to 3 albums have maintained classic status. For the last couple of albums, he's had smashes off them, but once they've gone past their time, they kind of fizzle out.
But the conversation I want to have is, can you still play Drake today?
Yes.
Then that's irrelevant because maybe the records
back. You can still play R. Kelly today.
No, that's a different conversation because R. Kelly ain't released nothing. Your argument was because the music back in the day have longevity, then this music is, it's a bit of a shorter lifespan.
You play anything off Rick Ross's last album?
No, but
you can still play BMF.
But my point, but that argument doesn't stand for Drake because you can still play the new stuff and the old stuff. So even if you can't play this new stuff the next album, you'll still play the new stuff of Drake's album then. So the argument doesn't stand there. It doesn't stand.
The argument is
at all.
I think that maybe Drake has gone from being in your eyes an artist that produces albums that have smashes on it, but are like sonically good from maybe start to finish, to now being an artist where you are predominantly just a singles guy, which is not particularly a bad thing. So we have artists,
whatever the trends are at that time.
We have artists that are like maybe quite big artists that they might not do the best album. Like you might not listen to their album, but they're always gonna have a single.
You just described pretty much every UK rapper.
Nah, not particularly. Not every. Yeah, maybe you could say pretty much. But
I think Giggs does good albums. But I think
I like Nines' last album.
Very few
I liked,
rap artists do good
I like
whole albums.
Jay Huss. I don't want to start doing all of that anyway. But yeah, I think that maybe he has turned into someone who's now just doing a lot of he's a singles guy. But that's maybe because we're fully in this playlist era now anyway. When you talk to a lot of people that are consuming music, what they do is as soon as an album comes out, even Mick said this the other day, and I do this a lot sometimes too, depending on the artist. Yeah, album comes out, I listen to the album a few times, boom, I got a bunch of detailed playlists. Yeah, after I've listened to it a few times, I take this one out and I put this in this playlist, or I put that one in that playlist, and I put this one in that one, and then it just lives that way, as opposed to me. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that they are any less of an artist to me. As long as they're still existing to me and they're making good music, that's all that matters. And that's why I think that Drake still probably has another 4 years in him. He probably does.
But he just can't come back to the hip hop world after this, though. I can't lie. Yeah. He might be done out over there, fam.
But what you don't understand is that's where the trickle down comes from. So yeah, cool. His pop fans will probably still buy this album, but once they pop fans realize that the fans that they want to be like aren't actually checking for him anymore, that's when you start to fizzle out.
But then you know what, Snips? We are in a very forgettable era. We live in a headline era. So once there's a couple more headlines, we will forget about this blackface thing time ago. Griezmann done it. I hated him. Guess what? He scored against Arsenal. I completely forgot. And I'm just an example of so many other idiots that just forget shit. On top of that, sometimes when you make
forgotten about Kanye, everyone's waiting for Kanye's album next week.
That's what I mean. And then on top of that,
was cancelled.
Exactly. But on top of that, unfortunately, in this era, if you make good music, you will survive. Rick Ross is a correctional officer previously. His baby mum's getting taken out by 50 Cent, fam. And I thought this is the end of Rick Ross. Whether we bought his last project is irrelevant, because up until, I think, from Angels when he came out of Puff Daddy, he was just going at it for time. To the point he was introducing Meek Mills. He's got Wale. So I think Drake will stand the test of time because he has good music. And he has a bag of people like me who just forget things so quickly. Then when you remind us, we're like, oh shit. But it's too late because we just bought your album. Fuck.
Well, do you know what? I tried my hardest not to listen to anyone else's perspectives until, people that I respect, until I recorded my own, because I didn't want anyone else's thoughts in my subconscious. But there was one thing that was brought up here in the Joe Budden podcast, which I thought was quite an interesting perspective, where Joe mentioned if there is any way that you could potentially get some of Drake's pop fans to not like him is by tapping into the women. So he said when he talked about Drake being a deadbeat dad and all of these things, and he's got this youth and all of that, women are going to hear that. Some are going to hear that and be like, hold on a minute. So this is your situation.
Maybe, but if they're the same women that buy Chris Brown's records, then it ain't going to matter.
That's a good point. That is a great point. Furthermore, he just smacks it out of the park, and Snips is the winner. How can you clothesline Joe Budden's point like that? That was mad.
Yeah,
but no one cares about shit, bro. People just pretend to care. That's why women still buy Chris Brown. That's why black people will still buy Kanye's album. That's why gay people will still buy the hip hop that they like, even though they know it's homophobic, or they'll still go to bashment raves and dance to the most homophobic shit or whatever.
Put your back in.
People pretend to care about shit that they don't really care about, or if they do care about it, they can distance themselves from it when it comes to. If engaging in the music and popular culture outweighs their outrage, so they will just engage in the music and forget about the outrage.
I have to agree with Snips. That is the truth.
It's fucked up. Like if something upsets you, stand for it, bruv. I will never buy another R. Kelly record. Never. I don't care what he does. I won't play an R. Kelly record in my set. I won't do it.
Okay.
You will.
Your track, he was singing about Aaliyah the whole time. I don't see nothing wrong, and neither did you, Chucky.
You know what? I am a person who is very comfortable with saying that sometimes I'm a hypocrite, and sometimes I get things wrong.
My guy.
And sometimes, you know what? I might stand by a certain element of a bias. I'm a human being, bro.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not judging. Judging you.
I just can't pretend anymore.
Oh, you know
Vibe isn't a smash. I just can't do it.
But you know, I will be playing.
You've got
Step
but
I won't be playing any new. If he drops any new, I won't listen to it.
Even to smash.
Let me be really honest.
You ain't play, when was the last time you played Vibe? Don't lie.
I don't think I play. I try not to, but I'm not gonna lie and say I'll probably never play another rocket. Maybe
But
maybe one of those 90s records might sneak into the set now and again when they're called
it's
for.
a classic.
Living Proof, R&B nights when Rod is there.
I never played no R. Kelly at the R&B night.
And I'm maybe trash for that. I'm potentially trash for that.
No,
but you know what? With that being said, yeah, Vibes Cartel is a murderer. Listen, Vibes Cartel is a murderer, and I play Fever to bits. I play it to bits.
But that's what.
I play it
people are so selective,
every weekend. I play Fever. I play a Vibes Cartel every week. I play Vibes Cartel every other day.
I had a girl, and I know the girl, and she's a straight girl, right? And I can't remember the bashment record I played at Living Proof, but it was homophobic. It wasn't like boom, bye bye homophobic, but it was, like
would you get released in December,
but there's a lot of bashment records from the late 90s, early noughties that even though they weren't necessarily based around homophobia.
It wasn't Sizzler, was it?
There was certain,
I understand why
but there were certain homophobic lyrics, right? And she complained to me and she was like, I think it's disgusting you play this. And I said, listen, I'm not saying I co-sign what's being said in the song, but I'm here to play music. I don't agree with a lot of what's said in the song. And then I thought about it and I was like, furthermore, why are you offended by that? But not the 30 songs that I've just played that are literally like smack her with a dick, spit in her eyes, fuck the bitch in the face, pour champagne on the bitch's tit. Like, why are you not offended by any of that?
That is
I'm not saying what people should or shouldn't be offended by, but sometimes I feel like, is there a theme of the week that we're offended by this week?
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's going to run to. But like, I don't...
look what Chucky displayed before. That selfishness. This really hurts me.
Yeah.
I want a statement. These times, other things are being said, which probably really hurt somebody else, but it doesn't matter. We got to focus all the attention on me. That's how people are genuinely.
No, I'm not.
Not saying you were. I'm just saying the example about the whole statement.
I'm not talking about anyone else other than myself.
If someone had MS, if I had MS, I'll be offended by that diss.
And that's why
I'd be madly offended by that diss.
That's how people are, man. That's why I just try to stay out of shit, man. If it's nothing to do with me, because as long as it's not in my home where I feel like I can have an opinion, if it's happening outside of my home.
My good friend Aris said something that made so much sense. She said the reason you shouldn't be offended by any of this shit is because it's not about you, it's about the person saying it. So to be offended by what someone is saying, you're essentially centering yourself in their stupidity. Why would you do that?
Of course.
And it's so true. Why would you center yourself in someone else's stupidity? If you say something stupid and ignorant to me, why am I offended? You said it.
Yeah.
Why am I putting myself in your stupidity? Right?
Unless you said it directly to me in the heat of the moment.
I can't think of the last time that somebody potentially said something in music where I've been offended, because as I said, as a DJ, I play all types of crud, bro.
Yeah.
So it'd be ridiculous for me to do that. I think the picture that surfaced, because I know what a gollywog represents and what that's about. I just personally wanted to know, why did you do that, bro?
Yeah.
But then you should have sold like Roundtrees and all them guys like bare letters as well. Back in the day, I was buying jam gollywogs were on it.
But you know what?
consistently.
Can we also
jam thing or whatever they're flipping
don't
on.
know that. Oh yeah, the jam thing.
If we're going to talk about Drake doing that,
I wouldn't buy that.
If we're going to talk about Drake doing that,
I wouldn't buy Montclair with that one.
Can we also talk about
none of that?
why
I
Drake?
check for Drake.
Can we talk about why Drake spent his whole career imitating Fonte? Because that's where that came from as well.
Elaborate.
You know that. You know the Little Brother, the minstrel show. Well, you know Drake came up under Little Brother, right?
Under Little Brother. I heard about this, but no, I didn't know.
Yeah, so like if you go and listen to Fonte, bruv, Drake's based his whole style off of coming up under Fonte.
Okay.
And at that time, because that was done in 2006, that was when the Little Brother album came out. The Little Brother album was called The Minstrel Show, where the whole theme of the album was what they were basically saying is hip hop is a minstrel show. It's black people doing blackface to entertain white people. That's what the whole theme of it was. A conscious hip hop album.
Yeah.
And that was the music Drake was making at the time that they did it. And if you actually look at the imagery for the Little Brother Minstrel Show album and then look at that Drake picture, essentially it's another fucking example of Drake at that time trying to follow everything that Fonte was doing.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. That's
Is that what happened?
Yeah, but Drake
everything.
Drake is a fucking Fonte stan.
Oh, okay.
Like
Oh,
a
so
stan.
he's in love with him.
Yeah.
I can't really be angry with him.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I remember when Sky Zoo came here in 2011 and Sky was like, at the time, he was Drake's favorite rapper. He's
But
like,
I think he was.
And like,
But he's made it very clear that he was Pusha's favorite rapper.
like
he loved him.
Everybody's favorite rapper. Drake, like everybody was Drake's favorite rapper. Like
Yeah, but that's probably because of how much he loved an era of the game.
But here, this is why I don't believe it.
That
This
is,
is,
Ooh,
do you know why?
makes
Do you know why I know
sense,
that Drake? Do you know why I know Pusha wasn't?
But that's not unrealistic.
No,
though.
I'll tell you
I
what's
don't think you can
unrealistic.
discredit
I'll
it,
tell you
but
what's
it's
unrealistic, right? And I don't think you lot will get this because I don't think you lot were in this particular world in the early to mid noughties. there were two hip hop worlds. I know the world you lot were in. You were listening to Clips, you was listening to Fab, you was listening to Jada, you were listening to whatever. There was another world where if you were into that type of hip hop, you were not fucking with that.
I know
hip-hop.
that. I know.
Drake came from that world. Drake came from the world where he was a fan of Little Brother, he was a fan of Common, he was a fan of Kweli. He came up in that world, yeah. So I know he was not looking at those rappers at the time. He's doing what he's doing what all of those people who came from that world are now doing, which is rewriting their history, pretending that they were into street rap.
Can I give you an objective argument to do with this? Do you know what Drake reminds me of because of what you told me about the information about where he came from school?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the depths of when hip hop grew up, but I imagine it come from a struggle and probably a working class struggle, not too dissimilar to grime. So if Drake is from a middle class home, that means he will never understand the full struggle of this. And there's people like that within this current climate of art in England. There are people middle class homes that come in and are fans of everything that happens because they don't really understand it, so they latch on to everything. And that's why I feel like that makes sense for Drake to say that's my favorite rapper and that's my favorite rapper. Because I wouldn't name them because obviously it would just be a massive problem. I'll be an issue, carry on with life. But I can name you 5 people that I know are in this scene, and when they were growing up, they weren't into none of this black shit. But now they're here, they're fans of everything.
And wouldn't that make sense of who he is as an artist as well? As an artist that, like, obviously he wants to rap. At some points, like he raps and he starts getting bare things off his chest and he's picking certain types of beats, but then also on the other hand he's singing and he's doing all of this other stuff because he seems like a person who just so happens to just like different flavors. I don't see Drake as a person who particularly, like maybe yourself, growing up attached themselves to a certain particular thing.
I think he did, and based upon the music that he was making at that time as well, I think he did. I think he was very much immersed in that underground scene.
Yeah,
where anything that was too street or was too clubby was like, nah, I'm not fucking with that. Which is how I know. Because, bruv, we can talk. Clips are a perfect example. I love Pusha. I'm a Pusha fan. I was a Clips fan when they came out, but I wasn't a huge Clips fan. They came very much secondary to the stuff that I loved. And if we're really, really honest, Pusha was not in the conversation about one of the top MCs at that time.
But you're missing the point on what type of person Drake is, though.
Beanie,
Snip's not getting it. Snips, you're thinking from the perspective of you and most people that if you immerse yourself
I'm saying
in something,
I know people like Drake in that scene that I was in, and the music that I was consuming, there's a million people like Drake. There's a million people like Drake.
I know people in the grime world, and there's a million people like that as well. They're not really.
But grime
big
is a very different thing, bruv, because we're talking about an actual hip hop scene that. But
you're now talking about the scene. Forget the scene. We're talking about Drake and his mindset and how he is as a person. So when he comes up through, that's his avenue in, and he will immerse himself in it. I love it. Yeah. When he's elevated to a next place now, he'll just love all of that, and then he'll go somewhere else.
No, completely. But what I'm saying, where he would have been in 2004, 2005 is not in the space where he was bumping Dipset and Clips and street rap. It wasn't. He would have been, because what people do, especially middle class kids, I saw this shit so clearly in that kind of underground hip hop scene at the time. What they do, they overcompensate. I used to have arguments with people because I would say to people, like, we'd be discussing MCs, and at the time it's like, Pharoah Monch is incredible, Black Thought is incredible. These were the heroes to the people in the underground scene who I love, my heroes as well. But when I would try and tell these guys, but Jada's dope as well, and nah, that's commercial. I don't listen to that. It's commercial. That was a mentality from that underground scene.
And Jada to them was commercial.
100%.
That's mad to
that
me.
Underground scene was not listening to Jada, bro.
I blame Puff Daddy, man.
And it's only in hindsight now that they're rewriting their history and pretending they was into Jada. But they weren't listening to Jada like that, bro. Occasionally they might like the Alchemist track that was done for Jada, or the Primo track that was done. But essentially,
they don't know shit about.
They don't like early Jada.
No mixtapes.
They didn't like early Jada.
No, nothing about no mixtapes.
No, they weren't into that. They weren't into that. That was considered commercial. And the people that are listening to me right now going, nah, well then you weren't that crowd. You were the street crowd that thought you were underground, but it weren't underground. The underground crowd, their MCs were Pharoah Monch, Black Thought, Kweli, Most, later on Jay Electronica.
Snips, I hear where you're coming from.
It was a different scene.
You're missing what Drake is. I fully hear where you're coming from, because you're saying at the time that Clips were coming out, Drake can never say that was my favorite rapper because he wasn't even fucking with that at the time.
Yeah.
But you know when he begins to fuck with that sound, you know what he does? He just researches everything.
He
just looks at everything, and then he's like, "Oh my god, that's the guy. How did I miss this? That's my favorite." How do you come over to this scene and then all of a sudden Skepta is your favorite grime artist? Because you must have done a bit of research. Realize that Skepta's been out here for time, from early.
Think, like,
that has to be the guy.
All of the early hip hop stuff that I got when I was like a proper when I was young.
Yeah.
I never got them at the times that they'd come out. Like when
Same
when I got Doggy Style, I still remember the day that I went to go and get that. Like I mean, riding my bike and going to HMV and whatever. They almost wouldn't sell it to me on tape. I bought it on tape. Yeah.
That was when it came out.
Nah, but it wasn't when it came out.
Yeah.
It must have been a good 3-4 years.
That's me as well. I was a late
So when
Snoop
it
Dogg
came
fan.
out-
I got that the week it came. I remember the week it came out.
Yeah. So it's
that.
like it's literally like finding things. Yeah, it's literally like finding things and then being like, oh right, this is out as well. That's how I ended up stumbling across bare things. How I ended up stumbling across Biggie. Do you know what I'm saying?
But when you're doing it in hindsight, you're always doing it. You're only ever skimming the top layer, because Doggy Style's a perfect example. So if you weren't into it when it came out and you were buying it 3 years later, that's the album that you go back to buy in '93. Of course. But when that album came out in '93, in hip hop circles, because that album broke through to the pop world, but in the hip hop world, which that album was huge in as well, Black Moon's Enter the Stage was equally as important. Trying to think what else in 1992, Main Source's first album.
In '93, there was loads of stuff.
There was so much music,
Wu-Tang
but
dropped
if you weren't getting it at the time, like
You never would have known.
Yeah, you wouldn't have really known. It would
I
have been,
agree.
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
100.
sometimes when people have this revisionist thing of like, oh, that it's like, bro, we can even do it 2002, that era where you were a part of it, you were playing records, you were out and about, yeah. So all right, we know clips were big. We know that I don't know what, but like say Joe Budden's Focus record. That was a smash in the clubs. You remember the first Joe Budden record? Yeah. But you would never know that
Unless
if you weren't there at the time. That record was equally as big as Grinding at that time when it dropped. Like in the clubs.
Are you sure you're not talking about Pump It Up, by the way?
No, Pump It Up came later. I
thought Focus came after.
No,
Pump It
Focus.
Up.
Focus was the first record
I'll
of that.
take Focus.
What I'm saying, and I could go through other records at that time that were like equally as big in the clubs, and if you were in that world. But now when we go back in hindsight, it's like there's only certain ones that.
But that's only due sometimes to the level of consistency that one artist particularly shows. So you're like, oh, they've been out since
No, but it's also because that there's a at that time and up until like the mid-noughties, there were two worlds. There was the hip hop world and the pop world, and then some of the hip hop stuff would break through to the pop world.
Yeah.
So now when we look back at it, it's only the pop world that we look back. That's why when people reference like Nelly and Joe, I've never played a Nelly record in my life. And people will be like, well, you didn't play in those. No, I played the hip hop clubs.
Flat Wings is a smash.
I never played those
play
records.
Country Grammar?
No, never.
I don't play that.
Never.
But
Like,
Flat Wings,
I used to
play.
love Country Grammar.
I've never played any of those records.
You ain't never played Flat Wings.
Never played a Nelly record, bruv. Nelly is
You see
trash.
when you play that, girls start getting
Like-
bendy in the dance.
I can't
Yeah.
lie. You see that statement right today? I have to agree, man. He's trash. It breaks my heart, but he's a great dad.
Yeah, of course.
But there was a lot of those records, like cool. And I said this the other day, and bruv, like I'm not trying to shade if you were playing at these clubs or whatever, but bruv, the people that I knew that listened to Nelly, they cut 2 sluts in their eyebrows, they worked a car phone warehouse, and they raved in Rainforest Cafe. Like that's who was raving to Nelly and Ja Rule. Like,
I DJ'd in Rainforest Cafe actually. I DJ'd there still one
Rainforest
time.
Cafe. It had the parrot on the left when you came in. It's the L.
like we were
I
listening
paid
to
some
that.
good money to DJ.
We were listening to that.
But yeah.
A man took me there. I said, I'm never coming back.
I did a Friday night there. It was alright still because I was
Nah,
there.
'cause there was
You
bare
get me?
foreign
Come
people
on,
there
When I'm
just-
there, then you know it's alright.
But also you gotta look at age at the time. If you were like 18 at the time,
I was young then.
that's what I'm saying. That like what
That
like
was like one of my first over 18 kind
Same
of,
here, but I
you know.
wasn't going straight back to the hood.
I was
Mitten
DJing.
tree,
I was DJing.
gunshots.
That was a
I felt
booking.
safe.
That was a booking. I wasn't raving. I still don't even rave. I don't. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, so what are you saying?
How did we get there anyway?
I don't know. But I'm still not counting my man out. And I just think that by the time this even comes out, the Drake's gonna have a response, and he's just gonna fuck this whole.
Look, I'm sorry. I watched Pusha T's Breakfast Club. I've just seen the way this man. I've just watched bare interviews of him now.
You have to keep that same energy next
Can't
week.
lie. No, I won't. This is me. For
Oh, you're
Christ's
not
sake.
even here next week.
But I
mate.
love
Yeah,
the way
but
people
Pusha
keep
T,
saying that to
I
me,
am
you
here.
know. I'm like,
Are
do
you?
you,
Okay, cool.
when people keep saying to me, "Oh, you better keep that same energy." Have you ever seen my energy
Oh,
change
no,
on
you're-
this
bro.
subject? Ever?
You know, bro, you're
Snips,
never,
like,
bro.
if you watch
Snips,
the
you're never
interview
gonna change your energy
with Pusha
though.
T. Do you know how calm he is about this?
Yeah, of course he is.
No, do you know how much he doesn't care?
Yeah, because he's winning right now.
No. Even this is before he dropped his diss track. This is before anything. He's coming to the. He's just calm. He
Yeah.
doesn't give a
But I
damn.
think he knew what he was doing. though.
Maybe-
I think
or
that
maybe-
I think that.
But you
little
can't
shot-
preempt though. You can't preempt
I
the
know,
reaction
this
he's
is
gonna
my-
get.
I
So
hear that,
you,
but
for
I
you
just
to
think-
still be calm is like.
Nah, but I think
That's
that he
mad.
dropped that little thing, as a bait. That's what I think. Come out.
All
I'm
I know
saying
is that
is
Drake
come
said
out.
something, and then what Pusha T
Come out.
responded with the artwork. He took it to Drake's world. He
He's
goes,
ready.
"Oh, what? You're gonna do
He's
the sort
ready.
of."
Fam,
the art,
when you know
the Adidas deal, it's an L.
Bro, see when you know that you don't get on with someone. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be you're probably not going to be able to put yourself in his shoes because you're not this violent, and neither am I. Just as you know what I mean. But what I'm saying is if you've got a little bit of a problem with someone, yeah, right, and you know what you've got on you, of course you're going to be calm.
All right, let me show you.
You get what I mean?
No, I hear you, but let me show you my. Let me
I
show
know
you
what I got. So say something.
Let me show you my
in
perspective.
fact, I might even bait you out just so that you do something so I can back my thing up.
Let me show you my perspective. Drake made a statement. It's done. What more do I need to say?
But you know how I knew it was done?
It's an L.
You know how I knew it was done?
Go on.
Because today, Mitch tweeted, "It's a wrap for Drake. It's over for him."
It's an L.
When Mitch says that, bruv, I'm like, all right, I know if Mitch can acknowledge that it's a wrap for Drake, that says a great deal. And I'm not shading Mitch when I say that. I just know that he is a big fan.
We spoke about this.
And even in the midst of everyone being like, "Nah, Pusha's killed him," he was still defensive of Drake, and he was still. So the fact that he's even now been like, "Nah, it's a wrap."
It's an L. Right. How can you bring up a man's fiance and then they bring up the mother of your kids, who's a porn star or some stripper,
must have known that he was gonna do
bro, and you got a kid with her, and you're not looking after the kid, but you try to use the kid for the campaign for Adidas, big man, and then on top of that, blackface.
I swear he's like he slyly mentions it in that record. What's it called? It's called.
It's spoken.
I'm upset.
No, it's spoken about on the net time ago. Like it was spoken about on
Upset,
Joe Budden.
He says, "Oh, I'm thankful for all the women that I know. Can't go 50-50 with no hoe." He says every month she wants me to pay her bills and buy her what she wants. And I thought, when he dropped that, I don't know, like sometimes some people don't waste lines and all of these things. It did make me think, what was that about?
Cool.
Then obviously this kid thing's come out. It just seems...
I know, Chucky, but we have to stay where it is. It's an L. He's made a statement. He didn't leave Radar Radio. It's just a massive,
anyway,
massive
you know
L.
what?